everyone, it is Hunter Fireflower. In today's video, I will be doing a summary of Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi Force War issue number 5. So this is the last comic in this entire series. So we are going to find out what is going to happen. We have Xesh and skal'nas going down to the Infinity Gate, and we're going to see if they're going to open it. And we also have Shae and Daegon Lok falling right behind them on Butch, and there is going to be a final confrontation. So without further ado, let's begin. We first start off with Xesh and skal'nas. They're going down on these little jetpacks, and they're going down to the Infinity Gate, and you kind of see this pool of almost like molten looking like lava, but it's like silvery white. And they're focusing on the sigil, and they have passed this chaos gate, which is what makes people go insane as they go down closer to the Infinity Gate. We then see Shae and Daegon Lok going to the Infinity Gate, and as they're going down, Daegon Lok is messing in Shae's mind, telling her, your parents abandoned you, and Xesh abandoned you, use your darkness and your hatred, and we are going to kill him together. And Shae's like, get out of my head, you're crazy. We then cut over to Sek'nos and Tro, and they have this fighting thing going back and forth, and Tro's like, oh, you're gonna be my slave again. And Sek'nos is just like, not today, and he's able to use this Force Lightning, and he's about to kill her, and then Master Quan Jang is like, don't kill her, this is not balanced at all, and he restrains himself, and instead, he kind of just knocks her out, and they take her as a captive, I'm guessing. It doesn't actually show it in this comic what happens to Tro in the end. I'm assuming she just becomes a prisoner to the Jedi. It doesn't actually explain what happens to her at all, which is one of my biggest critiques of this whole series. I feel like this ending was rushed a lot because there's a lot of loose ends of characters that aren't actually addressed in this comic. We then see Shae and Daegon Lok then make it down to the Infinity Gate with this weird pool of lava thing, and Daegon Lok takes on skal'nas. Meanwhile, Shae is going against Xesh. While Shae is fighting Xesh, she kind of prods at him a little bit and is like, I can feel the conflict within you, you're not supposed to be going down this path, come back to the light, come back to me, I thought we had something. And Xesh is just like, I'm not going to listen to you, you're not my master, you are just going to be a Jedi slave. As Shae and Xesh are fighting, Xesh is telling her, skal'nas restored all of my memories, I know what I've done, I'm a destroyer of worlds and people, I can't follow the light side anymore, I am somebody else. And Shae just tries to tell him, when you saw the light side when you were with me, you drank it like a man that was thirsty, come back to the light, and they continue fighting. We then get a cutscene over to Daegon Lok and skal'nas that are fighting, and Daegon Lok is about to use his mind trick on skal'nas, and skal'nas is like, go ahead, you will see all the craziness that I see. And we kind of get this cool little photo of all of the people that the Rakata have killed that skal'nas has had some association with, and doing this mind trick makes Daegon Lok go a little bit, queasy and insane for a little bit, and then skal'nas actually stabs him with a lightsaber in his chest, and I'm not sure if he's actually going to make it or not. He's not looking too good, but we will find out. Meanwhile, skal'nas tells Xesh to just end Shae, kill her so we can get on with the show. And Xesh is just kind of, doing his thing like he did before with Shae, where he's just prolonging the attack to basically have her escape. But we know that Shae is not going to escape, and she is going to stay for the end. As Shae and Xesh continue to fight, skal'nas then opens the Infinity Gate. You can see the entire Infinity Gate, which is just kind of like this portal that's in the ground, and you can kind of see stars and planets shooting through it. So I'm guessing if you walk on top of this little matrix thing, maybe you'll just think of where you want to go and it'll just take you there. It's actually kind of cool how they drew this Infinity Gate. I was expecting it to be kind of more like a classic portal with pillars and stuff. So this is kind of interesting. We then get this cut over to Tasha, and she is talking to Master Nong, the Qua Master, on the holocron, and she brought him to this little power reactor generator looking thing. Master Nong then tells Tasha if we sacrifice a Jedi seer into this little power reactor thing, the Thoyor would awaken and will basically act as a defensive mechanism against the Rakata. So I guess the Thoyors are actually kind of like these sleeper battleships that if you activate them, they will actually repel any threat against the Jedi. Tasha then tells Master Anon that, she's severed from the Force, she's not a Jedi seer anymore, so this won't work. And Master Anon tells her, no one is ever severed from the Force because the Force flows through everything. And this just is exactly just like the exile from KOTOR 2 type thing going on, how she was severed from the Force, but like in the end she can feel the Force later on. So it's that whole, like, Tasha's story arc is the same as the exile from KOTOR 2. So Tasha sacrifices herself to awaken the Thoyor, which I'm assuming is going to just blow up all of the Rakatan ships that are in the atmosphere. We then cut over back to Shae, Xesh, and skal'nas, and once again we see these like planets in the background with the Infinity Gate. It's really cool looking, very cosmic-y, galaxy looking, super cool. And Xesh is like, surrender, maybe we can work something out with the Rakatan, you don't have to die like this. And Shae's like, I cannot forgive myself if I surrender, I can forgive you. This is what it means to actually love somebody. And Xesh and Shae have this little moment, and then skal'nas comes out of nowhere with Force lightning, and she gets zapped, and Xesh is in a rage. Xesh is super angry, and skal'nas is like, there's no such thing as love, love is just a lie, power is what everyone wants, power is in charge of everything, she was just going to use her in the end, and you were going to die just like her. So skal'nas has now turned on Xesh, and they're going to fight. As this is going on, the Thoyor is starting to activate, and we see tons of ships being blown out of the sky. The Thoyor has these beams coming out of everywhere, killing ships, destroying everything, killing flesh raiders, and it's now alive, and the Jedi are going to start winning. As the beams are going everywhere, a giant beam then goes down to the Infinity Gate and acts as a failsafe, and the entire Infinity Gate gets destroyed. Skal'nas is like, what did you Jedi do? Then the Infinity Gate just starts closing, and then Xesh uses the opportunity to slice Skal'nas in half, and then he throws him in the little lava pit thingy, the blue lava, and then that is the end of Skal'nas, as well as the Infinity Gate. Shae then calls Butch over. Daegon Lok is still alive, and Xesh, Shae, and Daegon Lok then go on Butch, and they fly out of the entire abyss while everything around them is crashing. There's these rocks coming down on the Infinity Gate, and everything is just this big pile of rubble by the time they get out of the chasm. We then see Daegon Lok talking to some Jedi Masters. They're like, the Rakatan threat's over. We're going to turn in our Force Sabers and kind of go back to our old ways since the Rakatan Force has been defeated. And Daegon Lok is like, there's still flesh raiders on Typhon, This threat is never going to go away. We're just going to see more threats popping up since we're becoming like a bigger order. And Daegon Lok goes his own way. He kind of leaves the Jedi Order type thing. And he's like, I'm just going to keep my Force Saber. And I'm guessing he's going to try to maybe train disciples under his own like dark side teaching maybe, and I'm guessing this is what's going to start creating, I believe it's called like the 100-Year War. I forget exactly what it's called, but there's this big massive war that starts going on, and Rajvari is involved, and it's like basically this Jedi Civil War type thing where there's like one side that believes like we should follow the dark, and the other side which believes we should follow the light. And I'm assuming this is kind of like the roots of that conflict, because they eventually fight, dark side users lose, and then they find the Sith Order. That will be for a different video, but I'm assuming this comic is kind of foreshadowing that conflict that is going to be happening in the next like 1,000 years. The last page, we see Shae and Xesh. They're going to one of the temples, and Xesh is doing this Journeyers training. If you read Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void, this is one of the big events of the entire process of becoming a Jedi. You have to travel to all the different temples by foot, and as you do that, you kind of have to survive and learn the Force and yada 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 and find balance. So they're doing this whole like Journeyers type thing, and it's clear that they're in love, and now Xesh is going to find perfect balance. And it doesn't actually tell us like what's going to happen next. Like I'm assuming he just becomes a Jedi Master and like maybe they have kids. It doesn't actually tell us at all what happens. It doesn't tell us what happens to Sek'nos. It doesn't actually tell us like what happens to Hawk Rowe and Rory and everyone else. It just kind of leaves it like this, and I'm assuming it's because while this comic was being published was during the time that Disney was acquiring Lucas. So I'm assuming there was supposed to be more literature about this whole era, but it just kind of leaves on this cliffhanger of like, and Daegon Lok, you can still tell, has this conflict going on where he's going to try to make his own order, but it just kind of like leaves it blank right there. So I am happy with the ending, but I wish there was more content and more stuff to buffer the whole Daegon Lok story. So it's kind of disappointing that we don't actually see what happens in the end for Daegon Lok. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video, and this entire series is now complete. I've done a video for everything in the pre-Old Republic, so if you want to see other comics that you want me to do this like summary review thing of, just leave a comment of what you would like to see next. If there's something else in particular you want me to go into, please just tell me what you would like to see and I'll try to make it happen. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Stay frosty.